Hello. I think I'm live. So, this is my very first time going live through YouTube. I've always done it through StreamYard with other people. So, if anybody is joining, say hello in the chat. Let's see. Welcome to the live chat. All right. Um, all right. Welcome, everybody. Okay. So today I just wanted to quick hop on. I wanted to try this new feature on YouTube. And I had picked some cards yesterday. I picked three tarot cards or three oracle cards from the Osho Tarot deck, the Osho Zone Tarot deck. I'm going to go through them one by one. And the reason I picked them was I was feeling somewhat optimistic. And oh, hey, hi, Linda. Thank you for saying that you're here. It's nice to see that I'm actually live. And I always feel like my makeup is like smudging down my face. So, does anyone else have that? Like your makeup smudges? Okay. So, here we go. So this very first one, it feels like it's very, very strangely lit. But anyway, hello everyone. Okay. The first card I picked was, how do I get this in the frame? There we go. Was the change card. So I was feeling yesterday somewhat optimistic and I didn't really understand why. And I kept thinking to myself, there's change in the air. That's all I can say is like I kept feeling like there's a breeze blowing in. And then this was the first card I picked, which I thought was incredibly synchronistic. And the reality is, I think we can all see that there is a little bit of a narrative changing. Um, we can see that after this full moon in Aries, I did a video on that full moon in Aries where it was about finding our courage, standing up for our convictions, recognizing our own right to our autonomy. Hi there, Linda. Hi, Alice. Hi from Petaluma. I'm actually going, is it Petaluma or Petaluma? Because if it's Petaluma, I'm going to Petaluma tomorrow. So maybe we'll cross paths. So change. With the shutdown, there was a message sent. There was a message of like no more. And I'm feeling like the no more is all over the place. And have you guys seen MTG? Like, where did that come from? And I was watching a Heather Crux Richardson video, and she was saying, somebody asked her, why do you think that she's now coming out in favor of releasing the Epstein files? And why do you think that she's saying that they should fund healthcare? And Heather Cox Richardson was really saying that she's a very political creature and she knows that the winds of change have arrived and she's got her finger in the wind and she feels the tide turning and she knows she's gone as far as she can go within that movement. She wanted to run for Senate. They shut her down and said, like, you're too conservative to win the whole state. And they didn't want that. And so she's moderating herself. I thought that was the best answer that I had seen for that. But if we're not just talking about politics, we're just talking about the general collective here, and we're talking about our own energy. And it's kind of like the only thing consistent in the world is change. And we are going through the biggest changes of our lives astrologically. I mean, these are the biggest changes of anyone's lives astrologically that have been on the planet today that are alive. So there have been other big times of upheaval and change, but this is one of the biggest ones as far as all of the outer planets changing signs and having a real new paradigm beginning, but feeling this tremendous uncertainty, which is what 2025 has felt like for so many of us. And I think the wheel, which this is the symbolic of, is the understanding that what is born will die and what will die needs to be reborn. And whatever you believe is happening in your life, well, wait 10 minutes and like something will happen. That's the only thing that we can count on in this world is change. And so keeping that memory alive that like, yes, this is what's happening now, but there is change brewing. And it's really like swirling, it's happening. So then what was the next card I picked was the Source. And so all three of these cards had wheels. All three of these were circles, which tells me that we are in a very cyclical time. This is about cycles. This is about like, and how are we going to interact with the cycles that are playing out right now? So we know that we've been in this cycle now for 8 or 9 years. I mean, we really have. Like, I know that there's been like an acceleration since COVID, but as far as like this energy of like, where we want to sort of, have this, we want to go back. Oh, I just wish I could just go back to 2014. Like sometimes I feel that way, right? Like I think we all kind of feel that way, but then we recognize like, no, it's just no going back. And it's part of the cycle. And I do believe this cycle is playing out and we're moving towards something new. So when you get to the source is like, what do we do internally? How do we deal with this? We have to ground. We have to recognize that the changes are here. They're here. We're not going back, but yet we don't know what will happen. We don't know what will happen. So you can see all sorts of scary stuff on the internet. On my YouTube feed, I get people freaking out about stuff, and I can freak out about stuff. But the reality is, we don't know. Like there is no knowing. There are some like even on my own channel, I have an astrologer that comes on my channel that's predicting like, societal collapse basically. And then I have another astrologer that's like, yeah, it's going to be tough for the next few months, but then it's going to like blossom and bloom. And so it's different interpretations. And so we need to go back to our own source. Hi from Georgia. I know, Carol. I think everybody feels like they're too old for this shite. And so I am sorry, in an empathetic way that we are all going through this. And I want to give us this guidance about getting back to our own source. So what my source is not necessarily your source. Okay. So we can understand that the source being spirit, it can be what comforts us, but also we are each individuals and we have an individual path. And every single person's chart is so unique, and it is your blueprint for what makes your best life and who you are. And I think that's part of this is, Carol, you're saying I'm too old for this. I got to be honest with you. The beauty of the being too old for it is you've recognized who you are at this point. Most people, as they've grown older, have a sense of who they are and acceptance of that. And that's where the genius can also blossom, because you are no longer trying to be something that you think you should be versus what you should genuinely authentically be. Because going back to source is going back to your authenticity and getting grounded in who you are and what your genius is that you can bring out in this time. So there is kind of, as the winds of change arrive, there's an opportunity for us to get quiet in these next few months where we have planets retrograding back into Pisces. We have Saturn already there and Neptune's about to go back into Pisces. We are all going to be in a place where we need to ground, meditate, step away from fear, have the spiritual discipline to allow our own authentic genius to come forward. And when I talk about authentic genius, let's also talk about the fact that, hello, everybody. So fun to see everybody here. Oh my God, Susan Lynn's here. Shout out. That's so fun. Susan, this is my first live on myself. So, okay. Hello. So, so back to the source. So during the next few months, I want everybody to understand that there may be a collective malaise. There may be an acceleration of things that scare the living bejesus out of us, and we don't have to take the bait. We can open our eyes and see how many of us there are, that there is something new awakening in us, and we get to write the story. I read an article today that Robert Reich, so you guys, if you follow my channel, you know I love Robert Reich. He said that people are suddenly starting to wake up. Now, the more people say this, the more it becomes true. If we are living in fear and we just kind of say, oh, we live in a dictatorship, then that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. We do not yet live in a dictatorship. We have some dictator-like things happening that we do not like, but nothing is too late at this point. And so the next few months, you can't fall into a malaise. You need spiritual discipline. You need to get grounded. You need to go back to your source. okay? Because something is going to be being born inside of you. There is going to be something new and beautiful and necessary and needed coming forth. And then here's number 3. The last circle I picked. And this says, we are the world. It's the 10 of rainbows. All right. This is like, we are capable of coming together. This is saying, if you dance and you experience joy, how can there be war in this world? That's what this card is about. This card is about unity. Okay. This card is about forgiveness. This card is about recognizing where we are all one in something far bigger in this world. So, taken collectively, that gave me a tremendous amount of faith. And it synchronistically, the 3 of these cards really showed me that the reason I was feeling optimism was because everything is happening as it should. And it does not feel like that. But the more that we can take a step back and also recognize that things were not great, we are just seeing how they have not been great. There have been backroom deals. There has been corruption. There have been corporate interests seeping into our government for so long. And sometimes things need to be exposed and feel really, really hard so you can build back better. Because I really want us all in this time to think about what it is that we want for when we can come back together. And maybe people are not ready yet. And so that's fine, but there's this new thing called the Purple Revolution people are talking about. What I would say about that is if you are not ready, that's fine, but just don't attack people if they are waking up. Because I do believe what they're saying is true about that cult mentality, that if you attack somebody who may be coming out of the cult, you are potentially doing more damage. And this is a precarious time where we do have an opportunity to turn the tide. And we do that by being in our best selves. So that was my little spiel. I am going to be taking questions. I will kind of go through this and just know I'm on my own. And so I'm learning how to do this. Couple things I wanted to talk about too, while you guys think of any questions for me. Know that if you tell me if you do like a paragraph of what's going on in your life, I may not be able to like digest that. So just kind of tell me, my moon is in the 8th house and this is happening, or I'm in my Saturn return, or, if you have, or if you just want everybody who's showing up here to send you good vibes, we can do that too, because I know that there's, some news dropping every day that's stressful. Okay, Pluto goes direct on Monday. And Pluto has been retrograde since May. So what does that mean? So Pluto, as you've probably, followed along, Pluto in Aquarius has a lot to do with power to the people. That's the kind of shorthand. But it has a lot to do with technology too. It has a lot to do with how we interact as a society. So when Pluto went into Aquarius from Capricorn, there was kind of this hope that people could sort of fight back. People could take more of a stand. People could rise up against oppressors. Pluto is a 20, and this Pluto particularly is a 20-year cycle. And in May, it went retrograde. Now, when a planet is retrograde, it's kind of moving slowly. Pluto moves really slowly. It moves backwards. It appears to move backwards. It is not in its highest strength. It's more of a thinking things through, looking at what we're dealing with. When something's retrograde, it's almost like we've got a little microscope or like a reflection, or we're looking back at a photo album. There's something about looking at what's going on and examining it versus the all-out action. So Monday, the first time since May, Pluto's going to be stationary moving direct, meaning it's going to get its juice back and it's going to start having some activity. Okay. So keep that in mind that that's going to be intense, that's going to be powerful. And it is coming off of this big eclipse season. It's coming off of this full moon in Aries, where I think there's just been so much intensity. And so, and then that's followed by a grand trine in water. And when Pisces moves, Neptune moves back into Pisces. So there's going to be a lot of emotional processing and integrating going on, coming off of what we've been dealing with as Pluto goes direct and kind of gives more juice and power to people again. So, okay. Um, let's see. Yes, thank you, Alice. Not attacking or saying I told you so, I think is going to be hard. And I totally get why people are kind of fighting against that, especially if you've been hurt. I've been hurt. We've all been hurt. So let's be clear here. And I'm not saying reach out to people that gaslight you and bully you and hurt you, but I'm saying like really be cognizant of what you post online. If somebody's like, wait a second, this isn't what I thought, calling them a dummy is just not gonna yeah, dummy. I feel that way too. But I learned actually the hard way um, with a friend of mine who didn't vote the way that I thought she should um, because of Palestine. And when I kind of showed her like what's going on, like in the aftermath of the election, like what his plans were, she was still like, I still couldn't have voted that way. So, we can't expect people to suddenly like flip a switch. We have to give them time to process. Take care of yourself first, but don't attack people. That's all I'm advocating for at this point. If you do have the capacity to welcome people back into the fold, we need as many people as we can get, but that's a first step for all of us. So, can you talk about the Neptune Saturn conjunction? Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on that. First and foremost, what I want everyone to understand about that. So, what Jennifer's talking about is we had Saturn and Neptune come pretty close last spring, but they didn't make an exact conjunction. But here's the deal: they're kind of been they've been in conjunction since last spring. But that exact conjunction she's talking about, that all the astrologers are talking about, really, and we'll be doing a lot of in-depth discussions about it in February, is when Neptune and Saturn are at 0 Aries right next to each other in the sky. And that's going to be the thing. So like if everybody, like, this is what all the astrologers are talking about, like that this is the period where we have to kind of collectively get our ass together and kind of re-examine how this all happened. How did we get here? So if there is some sort of catastrophe or a change that happens during that time, which that's the predictive astrologers, which again, I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I help more people with consciousness than predictions. But the predicting astrologers are saying that this is a time where there could be like a financial collapse. There could be, a pandemic scare. There could be a big climate thing. Like there could be something big that happens at this time. There could be a change in leadership, right? There's things that could happen because it's kind of a dramatic thing that doesn't happen often, and Aries is a new cycle. And so when that happens, that's the turning point where it's like, okay, that's the marker. Now we have like everything, goes from there. But then we have this outer grand trine. And so if we've kind of during this time, the next several months, have made some progress toward what we believe in and kind of coalescing as a country, coming back together, or personally too. This doesn't have to just be collective, because the collective, keep in mind, is the personal reflected outward. Every person's individual experience becomes the collective. And we can't impact the collective. We can't, other than what we do internally. Okay. And you clean up your side of the street. Everybody cleans up their side of the street. We live on clean streets. So this is the time for meditation, consciousness awareness. This is the time for forgiveness. That's why I'm kind of going down this, like, we've got all of these astrological opportunities right now to chart a better path. And I'm seeing indications of that path being charted. I'm feeling good about it. Then we get to the spring, we can handle whatever that is, and then something new comes along. So I hope that answered that question. Okay. At the beginning of the week, I was all doom and gloom, wondering if we're going to get through this. As of yesterday, I felt a huge positive shift in energy. Isn't it so interesting? And I do believe there is a degree of what we all feel radiates out. So if we are all terrified, what's going to happen? Scary things are going to keep happening. I love the frogs post, the people in like the dancing frog, like inflatable outfits in front of the ice, because that's it. I mean, that to me is like this. It's like, okay, you're going to shoot bullets, pepper spray at dancing frogs. Like there is a concerted effort right now to kind of put us additionally in an adversarial place. Our job right now is to not be in an adversarial place, because then that is giving into that. And so it is about finding this common ground, no matter how we have to do that energetically, because that vibe shift, like even when it spreads, it's contagious. Fear is contagious. Happiness is contagious. Feeling like you're winning is contagious. So when we're all down and dooming on like Schumer, which I do, okay? But like that's contagious. So I watched Bulwark today, and there was this Senator Schatz, who I don't even know where he's from. So, but I was like, boom, this guy knows what he's talking about. I like this guy. Yes, this guy was a great spokesperson. He should be on all the Sunday shows. That dude is talking real. That's the one that I want representing me. And like, and he had some optimistic things to say. So the pessimism spreads, but so does the optimism. And so let's all kind of get our energy up a little bit. Okay. Ooh, okay. Kitsy, hi Kitsy. Her Virgo moon is taking off in the 3rd house. So my Substack, Life as It Comes Out, will be a space where I write about ideas in the future. Beautiful. So everybody check out Kitsy Stratton's Substack when it comes out. So definitely share with everybody. And she wants to hear what people would like to do. She's a natural born writer. So okay. Okay, we have Josh, who is having a lot of health issues. Pisces, Sun, Virgo moon. Lots of chronic health issues. So John, um I'm intuitive, but not psychic. But what I can tell you, so it sounds like natally you have your Pisces sun, maybe near the ascendant, which tells me that this Neptune, and I don't know the degrees, but the Neptune and Saturn will be on your Pisces at some point, or your sun. And what this tells me is this is a time for you to actually make peace with your own personal journey. And Saturn is the work that we do. Saturn is it's time and it's our life, and Neptune is our spirituality, and those two kind of are together right now. So you've either gone through this already, or if you're at the very late degrees with your ascendant and your sun, you're in it again now. And also by whole sign, you'll be in it for the next few months. That is not necessarily health issues, but it is an opportunity for you to take stock in the life that you have lived, and like where can you then go to the next level as far as your spiritual connection, and the story that you were writing for the rest of your life. I know that's not super specific or helpful, but we can all send you good healing vibes and energy. I'm sorry that you're having some health problems. I agree, we should flood the street with frogs. Oh my gosh, I love that you bought a frog costume. I think maybe I should buy one for the protest on the 18th. I think that would be really fun if we so many are like people are all in like big inflatables and stuff. And then, the stuff that can scan your face, like, they can't get you. So all right, I like, Kiki, that your optimism is running is rubbing off on people. So, okay, so peace, love, flower. Your rising is Aries, and your sun in Scorpio is in the eighth house in Leo, and you are feeling anxious. Well, it's understandable why you're feeling anxious, and so as a Scorpio, let me just kind of take this one in. You have your sun in the eighth in Scorpio, and your moon is in Leo. So with this, your sun in Scorpio natally, you need to protect yourself because you are actually quite capable of going into the deepest, darkest recesses and seeing the dark. You're capable of seeing things other people can't see. Scorpio can see beyond the veil. Eighth house can see beyond the veil. But the thing is, you can get caught down there and it can be a really scary place. And that's what you need to work through is you need to work on doing your Leo moon because your Leo moon is more childlike, can have more fun, and is more courageous. That Scorpio has a lot of depth and can see what the bad possibilities are. But again, you have the knowledge deep within you, and I bet you know this that we manifest not just like, oh, I'm manifesting a car and a vacation. No, it's about energy and attention. And so when you're caught in an anxious, deep, dark place, like things start to keep going wrong because you're just in an anxiety loop. So look at things that are a Leo moon and do something creative. Like that's, I just did a video with Arena Miller. Go check that out. I need to do the timestamps. I'm terrible at that. So sorry. But, fast forward to the part about the Leo moon and you will see what she says about that, what I say about that. But does have to do with having some fun and finding your joy. You have to reconnect to your joy. And that will mean turning off the news. And that's okay. You can do that. You really can turn off all sorts of social media. I would be really careful with that placement of your sun. You are going to be energetically damaged quite a bit by anything toxic social media. It's just too much for you. So find some fun right now. Like this weekend, go pick apples, like whatever is fun for you, get out and make sure you do that. Oh, thank you for liking the Gen X stuff. I'm obsessed with it. So I want to keep doing some stuff, but I don't know what else to do. But I'll keep working on it. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions? Okay, here we go. Dina, what's your take on Pluto square the ascendant? So is that, Dina, can you put that in the comments? Is that transit or natal? That would help me. It's like, is that happening to you right now? Or is that part of your makeup as who you are as a person? So yay and fun. Thank you for joining me on my live because this is something new. And I was going to have Celeste join me, and Celeste will be joining me in the future on some of these, but she's been really busy. So she's teaching a class in Utah next week. I think it's full, but okay, Dina, transiting Scorpio rising. Okay. So Pluto squaring your ascendant is actually a bit of a gift to give you power out in the world. So if you're Scorpio rising, this Pluto square is saying to you, it's time to not give a about anything anyone else says, and you go to your intense place and you lead with it, and it's fine. Now it may feel challenging and it may challenge other people. If I was looking at your chart, I would know, is it in the 10th house, it is in the third house, fourth house, like where's the square coming from? But I will tell you, no matter where the square is coming from, all that's going to tell me, like if Pluto's in your 10th house, then it's going to be career. Fourth, thank you, family. So this is a time for you to heal some old family garbage and not worry about the fact that you have in the past spoken truths that people don't want to hear. You keep speaking your truth, and Pluto is going to give you that power. It may challenge other people, but it's giving you that authenticity and the clarity to see what you need to do, and that is your gift. And in the fourth house, family may make a family uncomfortable, or it may also be about a healing some things that have happened in the family in the past, and you're the truth teller. So that would be what that is about. But ultimately, you come out of a Pluto in the fourth, with a much better understanding of family dynamics and your place in them and what was yours and what wasn't. And you're just a lot saner around family dynamics. And then that Scorpio rising may have been a challenge, or it may be a challenge now. But it's ultimately who you are and it's your authenticity. So protect your energy, but stay in your truth and your authenticity. Oh, hi to you too. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Oh, Dina, you're studying to be a therapist. Perfect. So you're going to be triggered a lot during that because, and there's any other therapists on here, they would probably, echo this, that like you have to do your own work to be a really good therapist. And so, like going through that training, like you're going to be like, oh my God, that was this. But like it's all going to kind of give you this tremendous healing. And that's what the rising is as well. That Scorpio, where it's like, okay, now I can be present to people in a really, really powerful way. Okay. So yeah, maybe just a few more minutes since this is kind of a new format to me and I don't really know, and I'm leaning in and probably, like I said, look all, okay, we've got transiting Venus in the 10th house of Virgo. Okay, this is a long one, so give me a second, I'm gonna unpack it. Venus in the 10th. Venus is fast moving. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. So she's asking, so Venus is a faster moving planet. It's one of the inner planets. So what happens is the slower moving planets just, they inch along like the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, but Venus and Mercury, Mars, they go a little bit faster. And so she's having Venus on her sun right now in her 10th house. And so, Venus and Mercury are definitely faster moving, but it's a great time to launch any kind of endeavor. Absolutely, because it's like you're basically favored in that way with communication, and so if you can make it happen during that time, absolutely. So, oh, thanks, Kitsy. I appreciate it. Kitsy's so fun. I did a reading for her, and she's got great energy. So check out her Substack for sure. Okay, thanks. Thanks everybody for all you. It's so funny. I unconsciously, I think, like, ask you guys to validate me. I don't really mean it. I just am sharing and I'm just being myself. But like, yes, but I'm so grateful for every single one of you. Like that one video where I explained about how I was kind of having this overwhelm. I got so many loving comments. Like I felt just like, like I couldn't believe how many people showed up for me. And that was very healing and amazing for me. So everybody that left a positive comment on that, thank you very much. I do believe that is part of my journey. But I also wanted to be really, really clear. Like I wasn't trying to say, please give me love. I feel very loved and blessed. With or without your comments, but I always appreciate them. And that's why I try to comment on them all. So, oh, thanks, Dina. All right. So you guys are so fabulous. Well, thank you for joining me for my first little impromptu live, and how fun that Susan joined us. And yeah, I want everybody to just keep those 3 cards in mind because they give me hope. Change is here. We need to get back to our source and our authenticity. And then this can be okay. We can be dancing frogs in the street and like hugging each other. And even if you live in a small community, get out there, meet other people that are in the fight with us, because we can overcome. And I know it sounds naive, but we can change the narrative if we get out of our fear and into our more positive state. Because we are not Weimar Germany in the 30s. We're just not. The people writing the playbook think we are, but Knitting Cult Lady, shout out, she did a video that made me laugh so much, where she was like, Americans are sort of known for being colorful loudmouths with a 500 million people with guns that don't like to be told what to do. So do the math. So I thought that made me laugh. So, okay. Well, I hope everybody has a lovely weekend, and thank you for joining me. And let's see. Yeah. Kali Yuga cycle. I need to learn a little bit more about that, but I know some astrologers definitely are talking about that. But 3 circles, powerful stuff. So, all right, namaste everybody. Have a great weekend, stargazers. We'll do this again soon.